All right, fellas. So if you can't pull women, you don't have the ability to pull women, women don't find you attractive, semen retention is not going to just immediately solve your problem. It's not going to be like you're going to start retaining and all of a sudden there's going to be a line of women outside of your door. Like a lot of guys who talk about semen retention talk about how like women are just so attractive to you. And it gives a lot of guys the misconception because you're going to have some fat guys out here thinking, well, I'm going to just start retaining and I'm going to walk outside. No, you are still you. Look in the mirror. No amount of semen that you got stored up is going to fix that shit, okay? So you got to work on yourself. But every single man should go through a period where he does retain. Because let's just say you are that fat guy and you do start retaining. That retention period is going to help you because not only are you fat and out of shape, but you're also addicted to porn. You're also depleting yourself. You're also busting gallons of nuts to pixels every single day. That's not going to solve your problem with women because, like I said, retention is not the problem that you have with women. That is part of the problem. But you're unattractive, right? You don't work on yourself and you're afraid of talking to women. So just because you retain, if you're afraid of talking to women, just because you retain doesn't mean you're automatically going to go out there and just be the smoothest motherfucker. Like, I don't give a fuck what you do. They say that fighters retain, right? They say that fighters retain before a fight. If you never trained for a fight, do you think that just because you retain, you can get in a ring with Mike Tyson? Of course not, right? Because you're not training for that. So it's the same thing with women. If you're afraid to go talk to women, you have to go talk to women. But like I said, retention is a part of the problem because part of the reason why you're not going out there and approaching women is because it all stems together, okay? So you're fat and out of shape, you're addicted to porn, you're depleting yourself, you're afraid to talk to women, and then on top of that, you add this, porn addiction that is simply just making you feel good in the moment when you can't pull any bitches. You can't get any women to actually like you. So it just gives you a band-aid on top of the really big problem. Okay? So every man must go on a retention, period. Not to where you're counting the days, but it just becomes a lifestyle. Like I retain for long periods of time, and it's not something that I'm just sitting here counting the days, trying to see if women are looking at me. No, I do it for myself, for my own benefit, because I believe that, it's not worth it as a man to just be depleting yourself, especially on your own in a dark room beating your meat. Like, even when it comes to women, like I don't want to bust a nut. Why? Because I feel like she is depleting my energy. So I would rather retain. But even, when you're completely on your own, why would you deplete yourself? Like I get it. If you're in some guts, right? And it feels good. It's like, okay, I understand you, brother. Like if you're still on that, if your purpose is to retain for a longer period of time, then don't let that detract you from whatever it is that you're going for. But on your own in a dark room, depleting yourself over and over multiple times, like you got to stop that shit, dog. You got to stop that shit. And that's coming from someone who, I started watching porn in like second grade. I stopped watching that shit a while ago. I stopped beating my meat a while ago because, like I've said in many other videos, there was just a point where I was like, as a grown man, why the fuck am I pleasuring myself? Why can't I just go talk to a woman and, seduce her? Whether it's at Publix or at Target or at the bookstore or anywhere at the park, it doesn't matter, right? You see a beautiful woman, you go, you talk to her, and shit, if you want to, if you want to get the job done, you don't have to do it yourself, if you know what I mean. Okay? So first and foremost, start retaining, let go of the porn, okay? And if you truly have an addiction, something that helped me back in the day was this one app called Manhood. I believe it's called Manhood. I haven't had it for a long time, but I think it's called Manhood. And you track your days, right? So it's not, like I said, it's not about tracking your days, but when you first, are quitting that, it's an addiction that you've had for so long. You've had it for years. So this has been a part of your life for years. So in order to create a new life and create a new habit, you have to start tracking it so that you're basically like showing yourself how far away you are from the old version of you. So if you make it 30 days, you're 30 days in to a better version of yourself because you have more control over your mind, you have more control over your lust. You're not going around, fucking giving off that thirsty energy. Because a lot of you guys give off thirsty energy when it comes to women. You're pushy. I've been seeing approach videos of guys and they're just pushing and pushing. The girl says she has a boyfriend. Oh, well, I can be your friend. And it's like, holy shit, dog, relax. Relax, you fucking hornball, okay? That's the problem a lot of guys have, is that they don't have control over their lust. Now, I'm not saying when it comes down to, get down and dirty, right? There's a time and a place, if you know what I mean. Like, if we're in the bedroom, it's not like you're going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to, indulge, whatever the case may be, right? Like, there's a time and a place. But a lot of guys, through the text and everything, porn has ruined your mind. The fact that you cannot bypass a sexual urge with your own mind and you let it control you, that's going to go into your text. You're going to be, double texting, triple texting, because the thought that you're going to get some ass, it has you, chasing and pursuing this woman because you don't have no control over your sexual urges. But when you do go through a period where you retain, you develop this, power and control over your mind. So when you're dealing with women, it's not like, you're not thirsty for them. When a woman hits me up, I don't get excited. I don't get excited. It's simply just like, okay, I'm going to try and set some shit up. And, if we get there, cool. If we don't, no worries. I'm not over here tripping about it. So, fellas, get a period in your life to where you retain for a longer period of time, whether it's, a month, 2 months, 3 months, so you can see how it feels and, what that will do. Because like I always say, retaining what you depleting yourself is doing to your brain is telling your brain that you have already completed the number one mission, the number one purpose that you have on this earth, which is to reproduce. I've completed the mission. I've reproduced. Your mind doesn't know that you're busting into a sock. Your mind thinks that you just, impregnated some woman and you've completed the mission, because the only thing that we're here on this earth to do is to reproduce. And anyone can say whatever the fuck they want. They can say, no, my purpose is to be an artist. My purpose is to be a lawn care man. Well, listen, dumbass. Well, if you, if you say, you know what, if everyone says, fuck my number one purpose, let's just be a cameraman and nobody reproduces, guess what? The earth would fucking stop. So our number one purpose is to reproduce. So when your mind you're constantly depleting yourself, your mind believes that you have completed the goal, therefore you have no motivation. It's not going to give your body any motivation to get up and, go out there and actually get some women, if you know what I mean. And like I said, first you get the energy boost, because believe it or not, when you're depleting yourself many times in a day, you're going to be tired. You're not going to be as energetic, as filled with life, because you have life force energy. That is the only thing on this earth that can create a life. So when you hold on to that, it starts to give your mind signals that, hey, I need to improve. So if you're fat and you're out of shape, it's going to start telling your mind, I haven't been, completing the mission. I haven't been doing what I've been put on this earth to do, which is to reproduce. Why is that? Okay, let me take a look in the mirror. Oh shit, I'm fat as fuck. Okay, let me start getting in the gym. Let me start working out. When you cut out that porn and that beating off to where you can just have an easy fix to your problem, where you're just beating off, you bust a nut and that's it, your problem is solved, when it's really not. When you cut that shit out, then you do the necessary steps to be able to go out there and actually talk to a woman confidently and approach a woman and, exchange information, let her know that you want to, go out with her and get to know her better. Excuse me. So yeah, like it's not going to help any of you guys who complain about women and, oh, women don't like me and women this and women are bad and blah, blah, blah. But you're still just beating off every day, watching porn, not approaching women. Women are just the problem, right? No, take a look in the mirror. Cut that porn shit out. Go on a retaining, streak to where you know what it feels like to control your mind, and then start working on yourself. And then you'll have the confidence to start, talking to women. But like I said, retention is not going to fix your problem of being afraid of talking to women. That's something you have to confront head on, okay? Go ahead and drop a like on my video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Peace.